Flano, no changes this week. You must have been happy with what you saw sort of down the back end of that game last weekend.
Yeah, I think we've been competing really hard. And we're in the games the last 2 weeks, Canberra and the Roosters, but just having a bit of luck in some instances, and then a bit of management, and then a bit of class, I suppose, to get us those 2 wins. But if asking to compete hard and effort, it's definitely up there.
Is that a decision that you made to try and get some continuity with the 17 that you've got there, or is that about these guys that aren't ready to come back in? Or
it's a little bit of everything. That we've got some young fellas that have been up and played a fair bit of footy, made their debut this year and gone back, and that's a bit of a juggling act. There's some boys that'll play at the back end and a bit more football. Loco and Jacob Halangahu and Nick Scaris, so those boys will play a little bit more football because to get them ready for next year. But it's a tough one because I don't want to take my eyes off this year as well.
How's Matt Flano going?
Yeah, he's 1 week back. Played last week, probably a little bit underdone. So he'll get another chance this week to play reserve grade, and then he'll definitely put himself in that picture to get selected.
You say often, it's a different team now to when you started the season, and the same can be said for Bulldogs. How much can you actually take from that first round?
Yeah, it's a long time ago. I think obviously both teams have improved in some areas, so I can't worry about too much about how the Bulldogs have improved or their game styles changed or whatever. I've got to concentrate on what we can control, and I think as a footy team we're competing really hard. And, as I said, we're going to go there tomorrow expecting to win. That's what I like about this group of players. They're going out and they're competing really hard and then trying to do their best.
Do you think you've made enough progress in the areas that may have let you down in round one?
It was a pretty close game in round one. I think it was 1 try difference. Defensively, we're probably a better unit, but in saying that, the Bulldogs are probably a better offensive team at the moment as well. Round ones are always tricky, so both sides have evolved a fair bit. So I don't think we can take too much out of the 1 try loss or the 1 try win for the Bulldogs. Both sides have evolved.
The boys mentioned earlier in the week that the Dogs have really good line speed. Is that something that's one of their major dangers that you've got to face in attack?
Yeah, well, coming off the game against the Roosters, it's really good practice because the Roosters back their game on the line speed. So going into the Bulldogs, there's been much said about their pack. There's not a big pack and they've got good line speed, which is true. But for us, we got good practice last week against a side that has good line speed, and we go into another one this week.
Locky Genge comes in for his first start at 7. Is that change anything for you guys, or is that a danger you need to worry about?
Yeah, it's definitely a danger. He's got a good short kicking game. He'll be out to impress, but we've got a plan around that. And
there's some reports that Sione Finau is getting some interest from other clubs. Is he a priority to try and keep at the club?
Yeah, well, he's had an indifferent season. Had a good start last year and, came in at a couple of different stages, and we didn't win, and he's come back in and, the last 2 weeks have been impressive. So, we'd like to think that we can keep him.